Everybody, this is Megan Flanagan. Rachel asked me if I would share some gold with all of you. This is a little bit of training that I've shared with a lot of the members in the clique and a few people in SMU, but basically what it is, when I first started out as a social media manager, I didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of resources, but I needed to create a document that could help me plan out my clients' social media content, as well as figure out a way to report back to them and do it all in one spot. Something some of you may or may not know, I worked 11 years at QVC in a variety of planning and merchandising departments. So really strong background in product procurement, but also we were responsible for analyzing everything we did. So kind of took what I learned there and brought it over to my social media world. And again, when I started out, it was just me. I had to bootstrap my business and figure out ways to plan out content, report back to clients, and keep everything organized in one place for each client. So that if a client called me or emailed me, wanted certain information, I could just go to one document, find it, and respond. Keeping everything in one place when you're first starting out and it's just you or just you and one other person makes life so much easier. I decided to use Google and use Google Docs and files to kind of house everything I needed to do my job as a social media manager. So again, this is a document I've shared with a lot of people and they found it very helpful. So I thought it would share it with the larger audience. I call this a 30, 60, 90-day planner because basically it's a rolling document. So you can plan out your year with a client, but you can also look at a 30-day window, 60-day window, and 90-day window. Again, I used to do this for planning purposes at QVC, and you could always look ahead, but you could always look at the current day. And again, there are things we know, like today in January, I have a calendar filled out for each one of my clients from now through the end of December with the things I know. So, I mean, it may just be as simple as, listen, we all know when Christmas is in December of 2020. So, that's put on the calendar. So we know to ask our client, in November or October, hey, what would you like to post for Christmas this year? And get them thinking ahead and get them planning ahead. So the other thing that this document does, which I'll even talk about a little later, is when you have things planned out like this and clients see this, they see you as an authority in your space. So it just kind of adds to that. One of the things I like about one of the tabs I'll go through with you is the statistics tab, where I would go in every week and I run reports and I fill it out. And I can see what my client's account is doing every week. But I only report into them every month. But what this does, when you start reporting back to clients numbers and analytics, and they're all things that you can get from the platforms. You don't have to run any special programs. Again, this is all bootstrapping. All these things are free. But when you can report back to your client analytical data and show them that the work that you are doing is affecting their account in a positive way and getting them to their goals, again, it establishes you as an authority and it allows you to charge more as a social media manager. So with each step that you take towards growing your business, as you get more and more established, and you start knowing your numbers and you're able to report into clients, even just basic numbers, you will feel more confident. And, when you see in SMU that we're telling you to charge more, you're going to feel confident to charge more because you know your numbers, you know how to pull analytics, and, it just makes you more confident and it does make you a better social media manager. So I will go through this, but what I listed is, each tab, and you can kind of mold this to what you need for each client. But for each client, I set up like a monthly calendar and I do January through December. Then I do a daily planning for social, and it's just a basic content calendar. And again, I'll show you mine, but tweak it how you need to for your individual client. Then I do a statistics tab. Then I also do what's called a tracking links for social posting. So for this particular client, I will post items for sale that track back to their website. So we can track the traffic that we're running back to their website. They do use Google Analytics on their side, but I don't have full exposure to that all the time. When I go to their corporate office, I can look at it. But on a daily basis, I can kind of see what I'm driving to their site. The other tab I put in here is Facebook ad info, or any ads you're running. And again, keeping my client's account all in one place is really helpful when I need to grab this information. I'm not searching multiple files in a folder. It's in one place. And it really, for me, it works great. And a lot of people have commented they like this format. So again, thought I'd share it. I am going to turn off my pretty little picture and move that away and go through this. So don't get caught up on the dates, because you'll see that this first tab, it says May, and then when we go to daily calendar, it'll hop over to January. But this is the best way I thought that could help explain. So again, like I was mentioning, this monthly calendar you can have set up from January through December right now, and go in and fill out the things you know. One of the things I do is I will color code, and I share this document a lot with my client. I could take a screenshot and share it to them. I don't actually give my client access to this document, but I do screenshots and I share it with them and I get their feedback. But when I first brought on my first team member, I gave them access to this document, and it works great. And the other reason why I like Google so much is that the person that works for me, both of them, they have Macs, and I have a Windows-based PC. So we're able to work together in these documents, and it couldn't be better. So back to the monthly planning. So basically, you fill out what you know on the monthly planner, and like I said, I do these color codes just so that I know when we're sending out emails, it's highlighted pink, and, making sure at a glance, do we have enough emails going out for our events? Don't get too tied into my colors, because they're tied to a lot more. But I just wanted to show you at a basic level kind of what this looks like. When we're doing promotions, I can see when we're doing a contest, when we need to do a promotion. And again, this is at a high level. So basically, this will drive the daily calendar too. And I'll know what I have to take care of. So my client and I will go through this calendar. They'll tell me the things that are going on for their company that I need to make sure that I cover on the daily content calendar and the daily posting schedule. The other thing I'll do is, to the right, you'll see just the month and the dates. And if there's anything that I need to remember, like it's National Barbecue Month, or it's Cinco de Mayo and Mother's Day, we had a product launch on the 15th of May. And then the 27th is Memorial Day. So just like at a glance, real quickly, just so I don't forget anything. One other thing I love about Google Docs is, on this calendar, for example, on the 15th of May, we had a launch. And what I'm able to do is hyperlink that launch document and that launch brief, I call it. And as I update the document, I'm able to come back here and share this link with the client so that they're able to see, okay, and the document's blank. Obviously, I'm not going to share the launch brief, but basically I can share this link with the client, and they can see on an updated basis, like where we are with the launch, what's going on. If they've asked for changes, they're taken care of. So again, and that's a simple hyperlink. Don't be intimidated by that feature. It's really easy to do, but you could basically do that with anything you wanted. But I really do like that feature. And again, high-level overview. So the next tab is the daily calendar. And you can kind of manipulate this however you want. In this example, this client, we posted on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And when we first started out with them, we were kind of in testing phase. So we did the same content or the same theme across all the platforms, but we would change some things out. Like we would have perhaps a different image on Instagram that was more Instagram worthy. And with Twitter, obviously we would tweak the copy to fit the character limits. But here was the basic theme of the 3 posts we would do every day, 3 to 4 posts, I should say, every day on their platforms. And I would run through this, and I would work kind of a month out with my client, and she would approve them. And then I'd go back and I'd create it and schedule it, create it and schedule it. And it was kind of that kind of rotation. But basically you can see that there were 4 times that I posted every day. And I had a little guide up here for myself when I first started, so that I just, it just reminded me. I would post a quote of the day every morning at 7 a.m. And then the first post, based on our traffic reporting, we thought we would post right around 10 a.m. And then the second post, we would post afternoon. And the third post, we would post between 3 p.m. and the peak at 8 p.m. So that was just some kind of basic information in here. When I would fill this calendar out, it would be white like it is down here. And then once something was scheduled, I highlighted it green so that I knew, how far I got. And I didn't really start highlighting it until I brought on my first team member, and we were both working the schedule at the same time. So I would highlight something yellow if I was working on it, and then green once it was complete. So we kind of could tag team each other with the workload. But basically you'll see I've got the day, the date, and then what the subject matter is going to be for the quote. What did we have a Facebook Live scheduled? What was our engagement promo, or what was our promo about? What was our engagement question or post going to be about? So we could put in some good enough detail for us to know what was going on and to communicate to the client and make sure that they were happy with what was being posted. But again, this was just a basic document. And then if there were any changes or any information I needed to communicate or remember, I would fill out this info block right here. And again, that was very helpful once 2 people started working in this document. But it's also helpful for myself because you may be fine handling 1 or 2 clients, but all of a sudden when you start to do 3 to 7 clients on your own, you really need to, at least I did, I needed to take notes to make sure that I didn't make mistakes. And that if my client quickly called me and said, Megan, on Tuesday, January 8th, I want you to change the post for the Wednesday schedule, I could write change Wednesday schedule post. Just as a reminder, because I just took a quick call from them, go to the document, fill this out, and then when I was going back to when I worked on their account, I would see that note there and remember that I had to do that. So things like this are helpful. And then the next one is one of the most important and sometimes most overlooked when you're starting out as a social media manager, and this is statistics. I do see people out there offering social media as a package, and then it's an upsell to offer statistics. I don't really subscribe to that because I do feel like as a social media manager, you should know your numbers and you should know what's going on with the account at a level that makes you an authority in the space. I'll be the first one to say I hate numbers all day long, but it is the numbers that will establish you as an authority and allow you to charge what you're worth. And your clients will be happy with you. It is the numbers every week that showed me what was going wrong with an account, or at least put up a red flag and said, Megan, there's something wrong. Engagement is dropping. Figure it out. And then I would go back over the week, figure out why engagement dropped, make a note of it, and then, have it. I didn't report to my clients every week. I do monthly reporting to my clients. When I first start out with them, I make them get on a call with me once a month because I want them to feel engaged and connected with me. Much like we do social media for our clients to keep their clients and their customers engaged with them and their brand, I have to keep my client engaged with me and my brand. So it's really important in the beginning that you establish that relationship with your client, that you are an authority in this space. It's also very important that you check your numbers every week. I run my numbers every Monday morning. It's something I did for 11 years in corporate America. I do it now, and it is the thing that has saved me, because if week 1 in a month, everything looks great, I'm cruising right along. Week 2, I see something dropped. Guess what I do in week 3? I fix it. And then I look at it again week 4 and make sure that we're maintaining. This is everything when you are working with clients. And if you can do this with clients' accounts and you can, have this kind of authority, you will be well on your way to absolutely charging, $1,000 retainers, $5,000 retainers, and $10,000 retainers. And I would not be saying this if I had not done this for myself. So these are the things that I will track and report in on. So you can kind of see, like for this example, it's 2019, January, I have through June, but you can see how it's filled out. So for Facebook, I can pull this natively from Facebook, and I do pull this from Facebook natively. I download the insights right from the page, and I track those numbers. And again, this is what establishes me as an authority in this space, is that I can report these numbers. You'll see that, I can track like what the engagement is. And I can tell you back in April, I believe there was an algorithm change and our engagement dropped. I want to say week 2 or week 3, it dropped to 7%. And I knew I immediately had to pivot and make sure that those last 10 days of the month, we did like huge posts about engagement. We pulled out all the stops and really had fun with our client and our customer and just made sure that everybody was engaging on the page. And we were able to get it back up to 10.4. But had I not looked at that number Monday, probably April would have ended up at around 8%. Now, the other thing too is, could I have reported back to my client that, well, we dropped in April because there was an algorithm change? Yes. And I've reported that in to clients when that's happened. But what I was able to do is say, listen, we should have dropped to 8%, but because we saw the drop happen in week 2, week 3, we pivoted, and this is why we did more engagement, like I told you I was going to do. So all of a sudden, when you're having those types of conversations with a client, again, you're establishing yourself as an authority. The other thing you'll see here, I collected year-to-date stats just so I could see them. But also the reason why I do that is because in the beginning of the year, probably about a year and a half ago, I had my largest client who was paying me $5,000 a month. And I only share that to tell you what is possible. But they challenged me to say, what are the goals? Like, what kind of goals can we see that you put for our account? So one of the goals that they wanted to see was followers. So we did say that we would increase followers 50. We would have 50K followers additional in the year. But there were other engagement goals. There were engagement goals. The year-to-date engagement goal was, I believe, was to get to 9.3%. And I basically told them that it would be 1% above from where we were in January. So, I mean, we hit the goal, by the way. But, it's good to have these goals. And, sometimes you don't know what the goals should be. And I've said that to clients, like, listen, I'm going to make the goal a 1% engagement rate increase on Facebook, because that is where the bulk of your client lives. It's not going to be that high on Twitter. It's not going to be that high on Instagram because you have an older customer and your client base skews older. So the reverse could be said if your client, if the core customer lives on Instagram, maybe you're going to raise your numbers a little bit higher on Instagram, but hopefully that all makes sense. But you can see, we've got likes, unlikes, engaged users, reach, impressions, engagement. The other thing I did is I made a note here, and this is directly from Facebook, these definitions, because I find a lot of times in the beginning, clients will ask you time and time again, Megan, what does reach mean? Megan, what does impressions mean? And, you're so busy every day that I literally, when they do that, I just go here and I read it off to them. I'm like, remember it's X, Y, and Z. So that is very helpful. And you should also know that engagement rates on Facebook and different platforms can mean different things. So just be clear when you speak to a client that, you know that they could mean different things and you're clear with your client. So on this document, again, in one spot, I've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you have Instagram and you use a Linktree link, you can track how many times certain links are clicked through. I did do that. I erased it because it would make no sense to you guys, so I just left it blank. But I have YouTube, we have Pinterest, and then also down here, we did Facebook ads. So we looked at the cost to acquire a client, let's say a like campaign. So that's what's down here. And funny enough, there was an algorithm change in April, and we saw the cost of acquiring a customer jump up. So that's why I have that note there to remind myself, to tell the customer or my client, to remember the cost of acquiring a customer went up in April because we had an algorithm change. So making notes like that's really important, because at the end of the year, when it costs me, let's say, 35 cents to acquire a client for them or a like on their page, they'll know it was increased because I made a note, and I'll remember why it was increased. So that's kind of like my statistical reporting, and you can run this out, like you can do January through December, the whole year across. All you do is you keep adding a column. So, and you can do that for the whole year. And again, if you're not good at Excel, give a shout out on SMU. I can definitely point you in some trainings in the right direction for trainings, but also Google has some great trainings in here, and it's very user friendly. I will say that, I'm not like this big technical savvy person, so I always look for the easiest way to do things that makes the most sense and can communicate the information that I need communicated. So that is the statistics. And then I put formulas so that it subtotals in the end, everything subtotals here. So again, there's training for that, but do not be intimidated by Google Docs. It'll be your best friend. And did I mention it's free? So then I have links. So when I do tracking links, which is not a lot, we'll put them here so that in the beginning, I would know which links to use, and then my team members would know which links to use. The other thing we did is we had links. We would keep some high-res images or quote cards in Dropbox sometimes. And so I would put the link to the Dropbox and put what the Dropbox was called. So that's what I use this tab for. It's pretty simple. So, and then this other sheet is just hashtag research, and this is purely for Instagram. So we would do the hashtag research on this page and kind of say, okay, for me, I knew by looking at this what hashtags I could use, and depending on each post, pull different hashtag combos. I won't share the very top of this page because I had all those hashtag combos in there. There is a training in SMU, I believe, on social social info, and that is a great hashtag tool that a bunch of us use. So again, but once you do your hashtag research, having it in the same place that you have your calendar and everything else in, it makes it really easy to post. So love this. And then the final tab, I kept Facebook ad info. So we didn't run a lot of ads, but the ads we did run, again, I would run this report every week and find out what the ads were doing. How did they look? Were we getting, was the cost per result spiking? All the different things that go along with reading how your ads are doing. If the client gave me $2,500 a month to spend, was I in budget? Were the ads that we were running getting us to the goals that we wanted? And with checking this, I check ads more than once a week, I'll be honest. But if you did check them once a week, or you were checking them through the week, making sure that the biggest thing is that if an ad is not working, that you turn it off, or you change it up, whether it's copy, whether it's image, all those things that come with running ads. And also, if an ad is working, reaching out to your client and asking if they want to put more money behind it, because you are getting really good results. So, but again, just having this tab here and being in one place. So this is kind of a real quick snapshot of the 30-60-90 planner that I call it. I always call it my 30-60-90. But it's a really good, like I said, it was so helpful for me when I first started to have everything in one place. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Like I said, I could probably create a blank template. If anybody is interested in this, just let me know. And that's it. But hope this helps everybody out there. Thanks.